Hey Ninjas, Nikki B, childcareninjas.com. I am super excited about tonight's episode of Monday Moves. Today, I'm going to talk to you about hiring inside your childcare business, and it can be a super stressful event, to say the least. But there are so many questions that people ask whenever it is time to hire inside your childcare business. How much should I pay? Where do I look for candidates at? Should I hire an experienced employee, or should I hire someone that is new to the industry? There are so many questions, and I'm sure we could spend a whole lot of time talking about some of these topics. But tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about looking at some tips and some strategies on choosing an experienced person in the industry versus a newbie to the industry. And there are pluses and minuses to both. And so it's never an easy answer, but I think that tonight you'll walk away from this episode with at least an idea on some of the tips and strategies that can help you at least make a decision that you're happy about. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get ready to dive in. But before we do that, I do want to encourage you to click on that subscribe button below and make sure that you hit the bell so you don't miss another episode of Monday Moves. Every Monday, I'm coming in here with a new episode that helps you become that childcare business owner that knows how to do childcare business simple, fun, and successful. So meet me on the inside so we can look at those and decide what is the best choice for you. All right, see you inside, Ninja. Remember, you got this. Excited about tonight's episode because I am currently in this process, and I thought, what better time than to share this information and kind of share this process that I'm going with you than the present, right? So, currently, for those of you that have been following for a little while, then you know that we are in the process, and it's been a long journey, of opening up our third location. And so now we are at a place where we are starting to look at hiring and who we are going to bring into this new location. And also, one of our team members will be actually going to take over and actually run this new location for us, or for me. So I'm also going to be looking at bringing on new team members at our current location as well. So it is really one of the things that I think we struggle with a lot as a childcare owner is who we are adding to our team. Hiring the right person can be so stressful because you don't know it's the right person for sure, right? We go through all of these things like interviewing, and some people have tests or have created these little tests and quizzes and things that people take for their hiring process and things like that. And so, you always want to bring somebody in that is going to really fit with your current team and that is going to just add so much value to what you have already created, right? And that is a really hard decision, and it can really be sometimes very, very stressful and very overwhelming because let's be honest, we don't really know until we actually have that person in there. We have spent time, we have spent money, to get them acclimated to our company. And the last thing we want to do is to pick that wrong person that just is not a fit. And one of the things that I know I have in the past and still at times wonder or struggle with sometimes is, do I pick that experienced person, or is it okay to have that newbie, that industry newbie who is fresh and hasn't really been in the childcare business yet, or, doesn't have a lot of experience behind them. And everybody kind of has their own, ideas and feelings about whether or not they want to go with the experienced person or the newbie. So I thought today would be a great time to really come in here and talk to you a little bit about things to consider on both sides of the rainbow, right? So I don't really, first off, have a preference per se, but what I can say is that there are a couple of things that I do look at and have been looking at in this whole process. And I have to admit, it's so crazy that, I'm coming out with this particular time to actually come in and talk with you about it, because I am literally in this process right now. And it is, a little bit stressful, So, but some things that are helping is actually, let's go with how the goods and the pluses and minuses, we'll put it that way, of the experience versus the pluses and minuses of the newbie. Okay, so let's start there. So obviously, whenever you have that person who is experienced, it's great because they are coming in with experience to the industry. They know what to expect. They know what comes with the territory of being in this industry and the types of things that they're going to be dealing with. So none of that is new to them. They know this. They've been through it. They have, good and bad, some of the good and the bad of being in this industry. And so that can be a plus in so many ways. It can be a plus in the fact that, you are bringing in someone that knows how to handle maybe an irate parent, that knows how to talk with the parents and can just really bring that, overall, joy when talking to them and explaining things to them in a very professional manner and things like that. And that's great to be able to have somebody that can come in the door like that. So that is a wonderful thing. So you've done your homework. You have, called about the references. You have called the references to make sure that this person that has come into this interview with you and has given you this image of the hard worker that they are and all that they portray on their resume is true. So you've checked that out, you've done your homework, and that is an absolute plus. Also, you have taken the time to look at, and I do suggest this just because people come to us and they do give us, a feel of what they're like. However, I do check social media. I do go in and kind of see what they're like away from, the business life. And I try to see, if there's not that you base them or base your hiring decision solely on social media or someone's social media, because let's be real, social media is, sometimes, shows our good stuff. And then sometimes it shows our bad stuff, but it's not us all the time. And it's not us every day. So it is good to keep that in mind. I do use social media as kind of, a check-in to just kind of see, the side of them that I maybe didn't see during the interview process. Don't forget, when you're interviewing someone, you are seeing them for a few minutes. And so you don't get a full idea of, that person, their characteristics, their personality, and all of that in those few minutes that you're meeting with them. So social media can be a plus in that arena, as far as giving you a broader idea of the person that you're meeting and possibly bringing into your business. And so don't forget that you as the owner, everything is reflective of you, from the team that you pick to, your environment inside your childcare business, your online presence. All of this is reflective of you. And so when you are looking for a team member, it is highly important that that team member is going to be a good reflection of you and your business and what you want to be portrayed as and liked, portrayed as, I'm sorry, out there in the business world and the community that you serve and all of this. So it is important that you do have a general idea of your potential new team member, what their, possible, lifestyle and things like that might be on the outside. And like I said, it's not an all yes or no based on their social media. We all have good days and we all have bad days on social and in life, but it is something that I do like to definitely at least check out and kind of get another idea of what I may be dealing with, you know. Um, so some of the minuses though about having someone that is experienced in the industry can be just that. They are set in their ways. They have been in the industry for 20, 25, 30 years and they know it all. So if that is going to be a clash for you, then it may not be the best thing for you to take on that experienced person. And it may be difficult to teach them. And so you need to think about those things while you are interviewing them in this process, and really kind of understand what their expectations are of you and the childcare business, your company, and what their expectations are, and what your expectations are of them. I mean, you want to kind of make sure that there's a matchup there, or at least a close matchup, so that you can at least, you know, have a beginning place and come together. But if you have one set of expectations and they have another set of expectations and they don't match at all, it is really going to be hard to bring that person in and keep a family atmosphere per se within your team. And if you already have a great team, which I'm pretty sure most of you do, you don't want to bring someone in that is going to really tear that apart or just cause a lot of havoc and mayhem. So those can be some pluses and minuses to hiring the experienced person, but there are some pluses and minuses to also hiring the newbie. Some people feel like, oh, I want someone that has experience, that's been around for a while. That can definitely be a plus, but sometimes, like I said, it can also be a minus. They may be very hard to train or teach. They may be very set in their ways and may not want to do things your way. And so that can actually come to a head sometimes inside your business, and you don't want to do that if possible. And that is the nice thing about hiring a newbie, is that you are starting with a clean slate. You're starting with someone that doesn't have any or very little experience inside the childcare business, and therefore you can take them and mold them into what you need them to be for your childcare business. And sometimes that can be much, much easier than taking on that experienced person. So that can be something that is very, very good for you and good for your childcare business. The other thing I find that is good with taking on a newbie is the excitement level. They are like super excited because this is all new to them, and they're just like really ready to go, and they're really ready to like dive in and hands on and teach me and show me and let me do. And they can be very, very excited about what they are about to become a part of, and they come without the baggage of the previous experiences that maybe weren't all positive and may have been more negative than positive. You don't know. And so that can definitely be a plus when thinking about hiring a newbie. Now, when it comes to minuses with hiring newbies, obviously, of course, there's that thing of not having the experience. So that can be, you know, a minus. I think that may be a plus oftentimes, because like I said, it's a clean slate. You can train them and mold them for your business. And I think that that is a very high plus, at least for me. Now, their expectations may be very different from the reality of being in the childcare business. And so sometimes that can be a minus. They're coming in and they're like super duper excited and they just think, yay, 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 and wee, you know, and they haven't experienced it yet. So they don't know about, you know, the irate parent, or the parent that's having a bad day, or the parent that, you know, is a little bit difficult to deal with, or the inspector that comes in and is drilling them and they've never had this, and things like that. They maybe are not yet ready for that. And so that can be something that can be a little bit of a downfall because they don't know what to expect. And so it's very important, if you are going to bring in the newbie, that you kind of sit down and have that talk with them. And here's what to really expect inside. What are your expectations? And then here's what you need to expect. That's the type of thing you want to do whenever you are talking about bringing on or thinking about bringing on a newbie. You are literally starting from scratch with this person. And therefore, there's a lot of things that, are going to be very new and maybe even scary to them in the very beginning. So it's very important to understand that you are going to be taking on, if this is your decision to go this way, you're going to be taking on someone that is going to need a lot of, or possibly need a lot of one-on-one, a lot of discussion, about what you expect and how they can handle these things that come up and that arise. And so definitely, if you are considering taking on a newbie, which I think is totally fine, just be prepared and ready to take on that newbie, knowing and understanding that it's going to take a lot more to train this new person, because they're coming from scratch, but it's not necessarily a negative. Okay. So in all of this, I think in order to really kind of come to a decision of whether or not you go with the experienced childcare professional or the newbie childcare professional, I think there's a few things that you want to do, a few things that you want to consider and think about. First off, the main thing being, consider the results that you want to have from this position. So what you want to do is really sit down and write out. Don't just think about what you want to entail in this, job description. But make sure that you write it out and make sure that it is clear. It is more than just watching the kids. It is more than just playing with the kids. It is more than just changing diapers. There's a lot that goes into, whatever position you may be looking to hire for, whether it is the teacher, a teacher in your classroom, and a group supervisor, an aide even. Make sure that the job description that you create for these different positions is very, very clear. And so that way they understand and they know what to expect, and they're not surprised. And for the newbie, they're not as surprised, when they come across different things that may be totally new to them. And they know what your expectations are. So make sure that you do that inside the job description, and make sure also that that is very clear in the interview process when you're talking to them. The other thing I would say is that remember that no matter which way you go, whether you get the experienced person or the newbie, either way, you're going to be retraining this individual. You are either retraining that experienced person to do things your way, okay? Or you are retraining this newbie to do things your way, because what they do know or think they know is not necessarily how you do things or how you handle things in your childcare business. So no matter what job, no matter what position you take, your training is always going to actually be a retraining, because we already come trained in either what we think a particular job is, or how it should be done, or we're coming based on, even if we are coming straight out of college to, this position, we're coming out of college based on a lot of book work and things that professors have taught us and told us and whatnot. But we have to now be retrained for the reality of what this really looks like inside the business. And so it is always a retraining. We come with our already preset trained ideas, okay, on how these positions, whatever they may be, are actually done. And so keep this in mind whenever you are interviewing your candidates, because you are going to have to retrain this person to fit your position, to fit your company, to fit with your current team or the team that you're building. And during this interview, you need to find out if this person is going to be able to be retrained by you. And, so you definitely want to make sure that you are considering that whenever you are interviewing them throughout the interview process. And the way to do that is to be quiet. Be quiet during the interview process. Whenever you're interviewing these candidates, you want to explore the qualifications that they have during the interview, and you want to ask them questions, not yes and no questions. You want to ask them questions that are going to dig deep and explore exactly how they handle certain situations, how they are with, different groups of people, large groups, small groups. You want to ask them questions that are really going to bring to the surface whether or not this is going to be the right possibility for your company and for you. And for the children that you serve, the families that you serve. Think about all of these things during that interview process, because if you have already done a hiring process, you know that hiring the wrong person can be such an issue later on down the line. And so you want to do your best. And it's not that any of us make all the best decisions or right decisions when it comes to hiring, but you do want to do your best to not have to rehire 30 days down the line. Okay. So just real quick, I wanted to give you just a couple questions to maybe help you in the exploring process of the interview portion with both your experienced candidates and your newbie candidates. You want to ask them. And then another thing too is asking them pretty much the same types of questions so that you are comparing apples with apples, types of things. But some of the questions you might want to ask are things like, describe a major problem that you've had recently and tell me how it was resolved. Something like that. One, it gets them to really think about the fact that, one, we all have problems. None of us are perfect. We all do things or have things that don't go the way that we plan. But what makes a huge difference is how we handle those problems and if we are handling them in a professional manner and things like that. So listen to what they have to say whenever you ask a question like that. And then pay attention to the type of problem that they are sharing with you as well. Ask them to share examples of how they've adapted to a variety of people and a variety of situations, whether they are good or bad. Ask them how they've adapted to those. Because you want to kind of know how they play with others. Do they play well with others? And listen to the in-betweens. Listen to the things that come up, and listen to the things that they kind of may fumble through, things like that. But we need to know how our potential new hires are going to get along with not just the children. It is also how they're going to get along with the team that we have put together, how they're going to get along with our parents, and how we are going to get along with them and they're going to get along with us. So that's important. And I think it's an important question to ask and really listen to and really watch the feedback on. Okay. Also, another question, describe a time when you were displeased with your performance and what did you do about it? This question opens up the door again for the fact that I don't always do my absolute best. We strive for our best, right? In everything that we do. But there are times when you're like, okay, I know I could have done that way better if maybe I had spent a little bit more time preparing, or things like that. And so if we are honest, okay, that, and this question actually, I think, helps bring that out. So I think it helps to bring out the fact that, one, this person is being honest. If someone says, if you ask this question, describe, a time when you were displeased with your performance, and they're sitting there like, oh, I really can't think of a time. That to me is a warning flag, because then you're telling me that you have never, ever, ever done anything that needed improvement. And so I think that I'm the type of person that is just like, even if things come out and turn out well and turn out great, I still want to look and see how it can be improved the next time. There's always, always, always room for improvement. That's just my belief. So if that is my belief, and this person is telling me basically that they have never had a time when they had to improve something, that may not really work too well inside my business. So keep an eye out for things like that. But you come up with some questions that you feel are really going to be important inside your childcare business to know about these potential candidates and go from there. But I do hope that this information and that these ideas and some of these questions are helping you begin to really think about, how you will go about your hiring process whenever it comes to trying to decide, do you want to go with someone that has experience, and do you want to go with someone that is completely new to the industry? I don't think that there is a perfect right or wrong. I think that there are things that you consider. I think that you put together a plan based on what you are absolutely in need of inside your childcare business and what that looks like, and you go from there. But I do think that they're using some of these ideas and tools and tips will help you not be as stressed. Like I said, hiring is probably one of the most stressful parts of being a childcare owner, because you always want to try to do your best to get it right. But we don't always do that. But hopefully using some of these tips will help you get better, okay, at that process. And so I would love to know what your ideas and what your tips and strategies are for your hiring process. So please share them with us down below in the comment section. And also, be sure to reach out over on IG. You can drop by and say hi. You can also join us over on Facebook, and be sure to check out the blog over at childcareninjas.com. Right, that is all I have for tonight, Childcare Ninjas. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. I love being in here, and I love to know how your journey is going. So please reach out at childcareninjasgroup.com. You can go there and join us inside the group, and be sure to check out all of the goodies at childcareninjas.com. Okay, that is it for this evening. Again, thank you for joining me. I am so glad that you are here, and I will see you the next time. Be amazing. You got this. Bye. Excited for you and your childcare ownership journey. Keep me posted. Let me know how things are going. And until next week, have a great week. Bye.